When you have a thyroid problem, you might be thinking that the thyroid is the sole cause of your weight gain, but have you ever given thought to the role that stress might have on your weight gain? Well, today I want to talk to you exactly about another player related to thyroid function, related to weight gain, and that's of course the adrenal glands, also known as your fight or flight glands. Hi there, I'm Dr. Hagmeyer and I'm the clinic director here at drhagmeyer.com, where we help patients from around the world find answers and find solutions to their thyroid problems and chronic fatigue. We do this using the principles of functional and lifestyle medicine, and we believe that you can't fix something if you don't know what's causing it. So in today's video, we want to talk about the role and the relationship that exists between your adrenal glands and your thyroid. You see, weight gain has many causes, and one of the problems that we often see with many of our thyroid patients is a problem with the production of this hormone called cortisol. Cortisol is really the body's main hormone that's related to stress, and when essentially this fight or flight hormone is activated, essentially losing weight becomes nearly impossible. And so one of the things that happens, and it happens often and it's inevitable, is that when we're under stress, there is this release of cortisol. And cortisol can increase your blood pressure, it can increase your heart rate, and increase your breathing rate. It can slow down digestion, it can slow down motility, it can cause one to feel agitated and irritable. It can certainly cause things like blood sugar problems, it can cause brain fog. And ultimately, at the end of the day, it alters how your body makes and uses energy. And we call this metabolism, right? Because of the impact that cortisol has on metabolism, including things like blood sugar and thyroid gland function and sex hormones, it can have a tremendous impact on weight gain. You see, stress is a common occurrence, especially in these days. Everything from politics to the economy to COVID, people losing their jobs, kids being home all day instead of being in school where they belong. The delicate balance between the adrenal glands and thyroid function is really being challenged. It's really being tested. And so for many people, everything that's really going on right now, it's the icing on the cake. Now, I'm seeing more and more stress. I'm seeing more and more weight gain these days than ever before, which is really why I wanted to do this video. So therefore, in addition to things like exercising and eating right, there are many steps that you can take to alleviate the negative impact that stress really has on your health, has on your thyroid, has on your inability to lose weight. And so let me give you just a few reminders and ways to support your body for weight loss. All right. Number one is focus on getting good quality sleep. Right. Sleep is one of those things that can often be understated. Right. We just don't give sleep the importance that it really needs, especially when we have thyroid disease, or especially maybe when we're struggling with weight. Maybe there's a reason. Right. So again, stress is going to impact the way your body heals, right? Don't deprive your body of the rest it needs, right? Shoot for that 8 or 9 hours of sleep. If you're not feeling well, or you just feel run down, you just feel like you need a little bit more sleep, you're more fatigued than usual, don't feel guilty about sleeping in an extra hour or two on the weekend if you need, especially if you can. Now, that's important because, sometimes we have to make time for ourselves. So again, if you need that time, make time for yourself, right? If you're having trouble sleeping, there are many things that can be done naturally to improve sleep, right? If you're someone who struggled for years, I did a video a while back called The 6 Overlooked Causes of Insomnia. And this is really just a great video for those of you out there where sleep has become just a major problem for you, right? Many of you are not going to like my next recommendation, but unfortunately, if you want to lose weight, if you really want to heal your thyroid gland and you really want to heal your adrenal glands, you're going to need to give up caffeine, and you need to give up those energy drinks, and you need to cut out the sugar, right? Now, let me tell you a quick story. Last week, actually a couple of weeks ago, one of my friends called me. He's a local orthopedist here in town. And he said to me, what can I take to help my fatigue? He said, I'm so tired I can barely keep my eyes open. He says, I'm embarrassed to admit it, but I've been living on like a caffeine drip. He's not really on a coffee IV, but he's constantly drinking caffeine all throughout the day, right? He starts his morning with 2 to 3 cups. Then in the afternoon, he's pounding down a couple energy drinks. And in the last year, he says, my fatigue is getting so severe that by 3 p.m. I'm taking 2 3-hour energy shots. I've gained 15 pounds over the past year. And he said, my cognitive function, for the first time in my life, I can feel that I'm walking around in a haze. My cognitive function is declining. And he says, I've got to be honest, I'm getting nervous about my health, and I've got to do something. Stories like this should be a wake-up call for those of us, and for perhaps maybe you watching this video today, that if you're using caffeine and you're using sugar and you're using energy drinks, and you have to take an afternoon nap just to make it through the day, something's wrong. So again, if you're struggling with weight gain, sleeping issues, stop the caffeine and stop the energy drinks. And it's not going to be fun when you first start, but it'll be something that in the long run is going to have a tremendous benefit to the endocrine system of your body. Now, with that being said, your thyroid levels should get checked, get your adrenal glands checked, and of course, get your blood sugar levels checked. I recommend, in addition to a hemoglobin A1C, I also recommend that people get a fasting insulin test. Because if you can relate to the symptoms of a blood sugar imbalance, right? Things like, you're fatigued after meals, you get shaky, you get jittery, you notice the brain fog if you haven't eaten in a couple hours. This is what we call dysglycemia. And if that's the case, what I'll do, make sure that you check the description box when you get finished watching this video, because I'll leave a link in that description box that basically provides more information about how you can support your blood sugar levels, how you can do them naturally, how that ties into the thyroid. And I'm working on getting a quiz on my website as well, so that you can take that quiz and obviously assess your risk for this dysglycemia, this blood sugar issue. Now, some additional things that you can do, I think that will help with weight loss, is really start keeping a food journal and really tracking everything you eat and everything that you drink, right? And this can be a major wake-up call. This can be especially important for those of us who think we're eating good. And what we find out is little by little by little, we find foods that are high in sugar creeping back into our diet, right? And sugar, without a doubt, causes weight gain. Sugar causes inflammation. And if you ever want to see how much sugar you drink or how much your snack has, simply divide the number of grams of carbohydrates by the number of 4. Or if the particular food that you're eating says added amount of, or added grams of sugar or something along those lines, just take that number and divide it by 4. And that will give you the number of teaspoons of sugar that you just consumed. Now, another tip to help you lose weight is eat smaller meals, but eat them more frequently and eat them throughout the day. This is something that I've seen over the last 20 years. This is something that I've seen help patients over and over and over again, all right? So again, try altering, in some of those meals, try altering the amount of protein and the amount of fat that you're eating or that's in your diet, because increasing your dietary protein and increasing your dietary fat, you'll be surprised at how much weight you can actually lose by doing that. People have been so brainwashed to think and believe that eating fat causes us to gain weight, or eating more protein causes us to gain weight. And that's really a big lie. It's a big mistruth. The truth of the matter is that almost all the time, especially when it comes to weight gain, is that it's the sugar combined with a lack of exercise, combined with hormonal imbalances, that is causing your weight gain. So it all boils down to really diet, exercise, and your hormones. And what I'll tell you is that no amount of dieting, okay, is really going to help you lose weight when your hormones are out of balance or not properly, not at the optimal levels where they need to be. Now, do me a favor, if you're watching this video and if you've made it to this point and you're finding value in this video, do me a favor, hit that like button, hit that subscribe button. Tell me what your experiences has been. Some of the things I'm talking about in this video, can you relate to them? And if you like this content, again, be sure that you subscribe to the channel and hit that notification button, because you'll be updated with videos and things like that that we do on this particular matter. Now, just a few final thoughts that I have about weight loss and stress, all right? If you're struggling with weight gain and you've made changes in your diet and you're exercising a few times a week, again, more diet, more exercise is not necessarily the answer, but it needs to be combined with hormonal balance, exercise, and diet. They're kind of like, they all depend on one another. But more diet and more exercise, if you're already exercising, that's not going to be the answer, right? If that's the case and you're noticing that despite diet and exercise, you're still gaining weight, it's time to start looking at your adrenal glands and understand what kind of shape that they're in and whether or not they're producing the right amount of hormones at the right times of the day. You see, stress can in fact impact many other hormones in our body too. They can affect your thyroid, they can affect your ovaries, they can affect your testes, amount of testosterone that's being produced. They can affect your pancreas, which regulates, your glucose and blood sugar levels. And of course, it can affect your adrenal glands. And so for this reason, I often recommend testing. You see, testing the adrenal glands is pretty easy. It's done by simply collecting your saliva 4 times during the day. And this is a really important aspect of properly testing the adrenal glands because your cortisol levels, they fluctuate up and down throughout the day. They're not steady like some of the other markers that we look at in your blood, which is why blood is not really the preferred method of looking at these hormones, right? It's really important to collect those hormones at the specific times of the day so again that we can see that rhythm, how things are going up if they should be going up and how things are coming down when they're supposed to be coming down. I don't recommend, again, a blood test for cortisol levels. I have a lot of patients who, when I'm reviewing their blood work, they submit that blood work and I'm reviewing it and they only had their cortisol levels tested in the morning, right? This is not a very accurate or good assessment of adrenal function over the course of a day. This might be good, maybe perhaps if you want to see if you struggle with Addison's disease or Cushing's disease, but this is ultimately, for the majority of people, this is not the right test to have run. So again, just when it comes to losing weight, keep in mind that it's a combination of exercise, diet, and hormones. And if you're missing one of those 3 in that equation, then it's a good chance that's what's holding you back. And lastly, if you've tried implementing these strategies and you just feel stuck, reach out to my office. We can help you implement an approach that tackles all 3 of these areas. And that'll help you, of course, break through this plateau and get to a point where you really want to be. All right, so that's going to wrap up today's video.